Hello everyone and welcome back to another math video. Today we're going to be talking about reflections in geometry. So similar to the problems that you see up on the screen here. Just a reminder that this is the normal version of the lesson. If you'd like the speedrun version where we go through pretty quickly, I will link that in the description below. For your Ricasso recap, you should already know how to graph points on the coordinate plane. You should know about x-axis, y-axis, terminology like that. If you'd like a refresher, I will link a video in the description below. Please go watch that before you start this lesson. All right, new lesson starts now. Here we go. So it says graph the image of f 7, 8. F is already given to us on the graph at 7, 8. Cool. After a reflection, that's what we're learning about today, over the line y equals 5. Y equals 5 is also graphed for us. It's this green line that we see. Cool. All right. So before we do anything, before we do any type of reflection, the pre-image is what we start with. Think of the word like prequel or pre-season. These are things that come before, right? So F is what we start with, and they told us it started at 7, 8. That's the pre-image. Cool. The image is going to be what happens after we reflect it. So we look at F, and here we're actually just going to count the number of boxes to the line of reflection. So this is 1 box, 2 boxes, 3 lines, however you want to say that. And so when I reflect F, it needs to go the same distance across the line of reflection. So we said it went, from here to here is 3. So it needs to go 1, 2, 3 again. So this needs to be 3. Okay, reflection, think of like a mirror. It's the same thing on both sides. So after we do the reflection, we call this point, we call it F prime. We give it that little notation there. So the image is F prime. And here, the coordinates for F prime were 7, 2. 7, 2. And this is reflecting. This is reflections. Here is our cool clock for today, which means that it's time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these 2 problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your answers. Okay, now they've had time to work these problems. Let's check your solutions. Okay, for the first problem, you should have put J prime at 4, 8. And for the second problem, you should have put N prime at 0, 6. Okay, for this problem, you'll notice that we have a triangle, and the good news is we're still going to follow the same rules. We're just going to do it for each individual coordinate. So over here on the left, we have the coordinates for T, U, and V. And we're just going to take this one coordinate at a time. So let's start with T. We do the same thing that we did before, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 to the reflection, and it says over the y-axis. Okay, so that's a little different. It's just on the axis this time. But again, they give us the line, so no problem. So 1, 2, 3, 4, which means I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4 over. Okay, so T prime is going to be located at 4, 3. And then we do the same thing for the other coordinates. Okay, so here is the graph, and here are each of the coordinates. And now what I want us to look for here is there is a pattern, okay, going from these numbers up here down to these numbers here. And so can you find the pattern? If you want to pause the video to see if you can find the pattern, but the answer is coming in 3, 2, 1. So the pattern is, you'll notice that the numbers stay in the same order. For example, for T and T prime, it's still a 4 and a 3. Whoops, there goes my arrow. 4 and 3. And so, but what has changed is the sign of the x, right? It went from a -4 up here to a +4 down here. And so we're going to write the rule out in words. So the rule in words is we switch the positive or negative sign on the x coordinate. So if it's negative, it becomes positive. If it's positive, it becomes negative. Okay, and if you're looking for the really mathy way of saying it, here is some notation. Again, this is the same as the words, just in math notation. All it says is keep the order the same, switch the sign of the x coordinate. So again, that's for reflections over the y-axis. All right. Time to practice. Go ahead and pause the video, try these 2 on your own, Special note here, if you look at the second problem, it says over the x-axis. Pay attention to that. See if you can figure that one out. But if you want to pause the video, try these on your own. We will talk through your solutions once you've finished. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. Okay, for the first problem, should have put f prime at -5, 8. Again, just switch the +5 to a -5. And for the second problem, here is the reflection. Here are the coordinates. Oops, and this should have been t prime, u prime, v prime. And the pattern is sort of the opposite, which is of the first pattern that we looked at. When you reflect over the x-axis, you change the y values, right? So y went from +5 to -5, so on and so forth. And so in words, here it is. Change the positive negative sign on the y coordinate. All right, last one we're going to talk about here. It says graph the image of J after reflection over the line y equals -x. Again, they've graphed it for us. So J is located at 410. And the way you reflect over a slanted line here is you are going to go diagonal, meaning you're going to go straight at the line, almost like you're going to form a perfect X or a perfect plus sign. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So from here to here is 7 diagonals. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 will put us right here. So this is J prime. So J prime is located at -10, -4. And now let's see if we can find the pattern here. If you want to pause the video and think about how did we go from J to J prime, but the answer is coming in 3, 2, 1. So here we switch the x and the y, and we change the sign on both, right? So it was 410, it became -10, -4. So in words, switch the x and the y and switch their signs. For math notation, if you're interested, you start with xy and you end up with -y, -x, where you switch both of them. All right, time to practice. Go ahead and pause the video, try these two on your own. Notice that the second problem here is not over y equals -x, but y equals x. So see if you can figure out the pattern there. And once you're done, we will check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. Okay, for the first problem, you should have gotten u prime. Again, switch the x and the y and switch them from both being negative, so you should end up at 6, 3. And for the second problem, you should have ended up with n prime at -1, 9. The pattern here, when you're reflecting over y equals x, is just to switch the x and the y. You don't change the sign, you just switch the position. All right, that's it for today. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.